What you cannot track, you cannot measure. And most definitely, what you cannot measure, you cannot improve upon. Now, if like myself, you did take conscious written track of your cash flow this past week, you would notice one thing. You would notice how money moves, basically. You will notice that money flows very much like a river. It comes in and then it goes out almost entirely. It is almost it is almost very certain that if you don't have a structure in place to hold money, every single time that it comes towards you, it is going to go out almost completely, almost entirely. Like if you did take that conscious written inventory of your cash flow, you would notice that money come in form of income. And by income, I don't mean money flows in as income. And by income, I don't mean wage-based income, because I mean money basically coming into your reality. That's what I mean by income. And then it flows out usually in form of expenses, in form of our day-to-day spendings, responsibilities, utility. You have to do this, you have to do that. But primarily, that is how money moves. That is how money works. And it is very much like a river, very much like water. It flows in a direction. It comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. That is how money works. Now, the idea, what successful people do, the idea for accumulating wealth is creating a structure somewhere in between that flows that makes sure that when it flows in, it doesn't just flows out entirely, more like a dam. Because what a dam is basically, a dam is basically a blockage. You have a free moving water, and then there's a blockage somewhere to retain the current that water is coming with, and then releasing some of that but not entirely. So what we are trying to do with this financial literacy is trying to figure out where exactly in that flow of this our income, our cash basically, where exactly is it going to be best for us to create some sort of a dam that holds some of what comes in, making sure that not everything that comes in goes out entirely. If you did take consciously written track of your cash flow for the week, you would notice one thing. You would notice where your money go daily, as well as how your money go daily. And this is what I mean. For myself, taking conscious track of my inventory for the week, I noticed that I spend roughly about 52% of my daily income on feeding. Roughly about 52% of that goes on feeding because I've been eating out a lot lately. So I spend more on feeding. And then here's the thing, here's how it even goes, which is like the funny thing. About 60 to 72% of that goes to panic eating daily. And what I mean by panic eating is usually that's late night hunger that just strike in. You did not plan for it just strike in, and you kind of like just have to rush out to go and get something to eat. But in the past 1 week, I have spent roughly between 70 to 90% of my daily feeding on that kind of structure. So if you did take a written inventory of your cash flow, you will notice not just how money comes to you, but how money moves away from you and where that money goes to. So now it is up to us to kind of like figure out how it is best for us to create a dam. Now, accumulating wealth usually requires two things, two approaches. You can accumulate money by increasing your income, increasing how money flows towards you, or by reducing how money move away from you. Now, I am never a fan of downsizing expenses to accumulate wealth. I am usually a fan of increasing your income because I really believe that it doesn't matter how big your expenses is. If you can get money flowing to you bigger than it flows away from you, you can always cover for your expenses. But for the purpose of this experiment that we are doing together, I want to, for a moment, for the next 1 week, let us forget about increasing our income and focus on going back to that your inventory book, looking for ways that you can actually downsize your expenses. For me, I already have a clue because I now know where over 50% of my daily expenditures go to, and I now know how exactly the most of that money move. So I already have a clue. And if you would sit down today, I'll say for today, your responsibility is sit down with that your stick notes your paper, compile them into an actual cash flow statement daily, record for each day how money came to you, how they went out. It will give you an idea of how money moves away from you, where they go. So what we want to do now is, for the next 1 week, we want to look for non-essential non-essential expenses, not where you can downsize as much as you can, where you can downsize 30%. You feel like you can discipline yourself to reduce your expenses here by 30%, and you still won't be dead, you still be alive, you still do your day to day. Figure out the way to kind of like do that. But for the next 1 week, downsize your expenses by like 30% if you can. Look for ways to downsize. And downsizing, this is the thing now, downsizing don't exactly mean depriving yourself of certain things that you want. Downsizing can mean, instead of buying in units one, why not buy in bulk to get a 30% discount? Yeah. So whichever way that you can figure out, if you can do discipline to say, okay, in my book I have this and I can actually do without this for a day, let me take this out of the book, that's good. But if you cannot, just look for ways that you can go about your expenses still, but in a reduced manner, in a way that the cost is not as much as it is used to be. So that is basically what we'll be doing for the next 1 week. I'll still go about my daily financial literacy videos in the morning, giving tips as to how we can go about this. So guys, I remember Nako Daniel, the mastermind trader from the world most populous Black nation. And don't forget, today by afternoon, we'll be having our financial intensive live on TikTok. You can call in with whatever financial issue that it is, and we will try to profile a solution for you. I'll see you in the next video.